Introducing your starting lineup for the I Suck at Fantasy Podcast Episode 4. Oh! At point guard, your host, the man with the mic, 5'6", Peter Schmitz. Bump, bump, bump. And also at guard, we've got a short team, but 5'6" again. Temple University alum, Dan Miller. Yeah. And finally, bringing in the man, the myth, the legend, rocking his Devontae Adams jersey after a win at Soldier Field, Nick Clement. How's it going, guys?
That was electric.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Thought it was Wednesday. Will tees off tomorrow at 8 p.m. in Got my bet in though. $30, top 20.
What were the odds?
Minus 130, small field, no cut. Will is number 4 or 5 favorite to win it all, but he has the best odds to finish in the top 40. So as you go down the scale, his odds get like he becomes better because he has such a small standard deviation on where he finishes.
That's a lot of math talk. I'm not really the math guy on this podcast.
I don't really know what standard deviation means, but you guys nodded, and so I think we're good to go. Might find out during this call.
If this podcast doesn't work out, we've got a backup idea of just a Will Zalatoris podcast, just following him.
Well, we kind of already do that.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it. Big week this last week. Some say the king is dead. Some say Nick Chubb is dead.
Oh, no.
Some say that Nick and Peter are alive and breathing. Let's move into the weekly recap. 2-4, baby. 2-4. All right, what jumps out to you about some of these games this week, gentlemen?
Derrick Henry. Latest victim is Alex Shaw, aka Ryan. I think his identity was revealed this week. And he just got victim again to a large 3-touchdown game again from the man-child.
Yeah, a couple quick stats on Derrick Henry. As Zeke mentioned, 3 touchdowns. That's his third 3-touchdown game. He has 10 total touchdowns this year. He is averaging 27 points on the dot. That is with a 9-point performance in week 1. So my question to all our listeners out there, if you were given the choice at the beginning of the week to say, I have to play against Derrick Henry, you can either give him 27 points and he does not allowed to start and Chris loses that spot on his roster for the week on the running back spot, or you play against him, which would you choose? I think just say, hey, you get 27 points and move on.
Yeah, you posed this to you posed this to us earlier. I thought about it. You said he's got three weeks over that 27 mark, 3 weeks under. I don't think I'd give up 27 points right off the bat, but if you lowered it to about like 22, like 5 points lower, I think I sign up for that immediately. Yeah. I think there's just a big difference of signing up for 27 out of a running back position.
Yeah, well, we are maybe witnessing the greatest running back to ever do it. So, Chris, there's your little love for the podcast. Don't expect any more today until we get to the power rankings. You still suck, just like the rest of us. So, what else jumps out to you about these matchups?
Yeah, I don't see the Iowa score posted anywhere on this one, but in case, Chris, you forgot, you lost to Purdue, a now ranked Purdue, though. So it's a good loss, right? They're probably in the top 10 still.
Yeah, and Purdue blew them out, I think. So Purdue's really good. I think that gets Purdue into the playoff, if I'm not mistaken.
Got to beat the king to be the king.
Okay. So speaking of the king, does that mean that Nick, are you the king?
Apparently everyone in the league thinks Dan was the king based on some of the trades they made with him when he was in a difficult spot, but I'm not going to crown myself the king yet.
Okay.
Berg and Shaw are the two nicest guys in this league. You know, they don't put their hatred and disdain for me over their want to build a good team. And I respect that. There's a couple teams in this league that I won't mention that are scared to make a trade with me because they're afraid of looking like the
Why don't you dive into that? Who are those teams?
Nick, Ben,
guys that live in the view, and Chris.
The only people in this league that are too afraid to make a trade with me.
Hey, it's because you're
I'm
too
not
good.
afraid.
Glad we could
I
do
just don't
some
want to
business last week.
Yeah, I don't want to get ripped off.
Once again, to highlight one of the most questionable trades of the year, also had Dan involved. Berg did give up 10 Fab and Myles Gaskin for a 2014 Odell Beckham stat line, averaging 100 yards per game. But hey, maybe it plays out well for him, especially with Baker Mayfield throwing with his left hand.
Gaskin put up quite the stat line against me this week, but maybe Berg did that on purpose. Hey, I'll give you 10 Fab if you start this bad guy on your team.
Hey, speaking of a potential death of the king this week, I won't count him out at this point, but Toy putting up 93 points, getting a 25 from his quarterback, which he picked up off waivers. Good stream out of Matt Stafford, losing Russell Wilson. But a tough week if the Chargers don't perform well, nor does Toy.
And they're on bye this week. So that's another tough matchup this week. He might not be a favorite to be picked in our pick 'em later this episode.
Well, a couple other things here, and we'll move along. One of my favorite stat lines is Shaw, 25 points from Jalen Hurts, 23.8 points from Joe Mixon, and 23.7 points from Darrell Henderson. About 75 points. That is putting up roughly 75% of his points, and he put only 105 points on the board. Pretty brutal. A little bit of a rough go from the rest of the team, but Shaw, we still believe in you. I love what those three are doing, but the rest of your team, no, I will not trade Mike Evans for Stephon Diggs. But if there's other offers you'd like to talk, I might be open.
It's very interesting, Peter. I got Mike Evans for juicy Justin Jefferson trade offer this morning.
Oh, Some people are saying Mike Evans is droppable at this point, so maybe we'll on the waivers soon. Milkman took down a former, actually, he's been steady ranked at number 3 in our power rankings. Outside of a 160-point week, Ben has been about the steadiest team in a lot of ways, putting up around 110, give or take. Whether he plays the defense or not is always a fun little stat to watch on the week. And your high score of the week with 142. So I look forward to my only Saber metric of the week, which I'll drop right now, is the number 5. And Toy, I would like my $5. And this is the 5th out of 6 weeks that I have been a part of the payout. I have paid out 3, 2. So I am net -5.
Let's go.
All right. Any other takeaways here?
Yeah, my last comment is that we're really good podcast hosts, and we're also really good at pick 'em because we all picked that upset of Will Zalatoris over the Iceberg. So little pat on the back for us 3 there.
Hey, big for all of us. And I'm a little biased, but might be the meme of the week. All right, trade talk. We obviously had some interesting trades this last week. Some that came through afterwards. Dan in a huge pinch, which he got himself out of that last week, but back in another pinch this go around with Chubb. So we'll stay tuned on what might happen there.
Wait, I am getting a phone call quick. Hold on. I got to take this. Yeah.
All right. I just muted him, Nick. So any trade out to you?
He has no. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, you're still on mute. Let us know when you've got it out of your system. Could you unmute? You have to unmute yourself.
Let me back in the room.
Oh, you're still on mute.
Breaking news. Chubb and the Hawk have been traded.
Wow.
coming in live.
Very nice. For who?
Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and Tyler Higbee are joining my team, and the Hawk and Chubb left to find better days with Team Berg.
Interesting trade. Live reactions. Nick, as our resident fantasy guru.
What has Berg like got on you, or what do you have on Berg? I should say that he is just making these trades.
Does Berg think you're really cool? Because you're not.
Oh my Lord.
That's a good trade.
That's a fake.
I mean,
that's fake, right?
No, I think Chubb is going to put up some numbers after he's back from his short stint on injury. But I do like Zeke going forward and having that handcuff Tony Pollard. I am going to miss out on the Hawk. I'm going to be I'm going to be struggling at tight end. I went from having, I think, one of the best tight ends in the league to either Tyler Higbee or Hunter Henry. Stay tuned at who I start between those two.
You know, what's really interesting is it's watching two guys who have continued to perform well and have gotten bad beats in this league. I think Berg and Dan have taken the worst bad beats or just underperform and continue to turn their roster over, just looking for the right key on a weekly basis. So interesting to see these moves that are being made.
Yeah,
so
my final
running back this week. He doesn't have
exactly.
a gas can, clearly.
He's got Aaron Jones.
Is he planning on starting Odell Beckham at running back? He's got Aaron Jones. He's got an injured Nick Chubb.
But Zeke is on bye, so he couldn't have started Zeke anyway. The bye doesn't really.
Oh, okay.
That makes the trade actually better.
Yeah, I'm getting my bye week out of the way now with Zeke instead of having to wait until later in the season with Chubb.
That's
okay.
Good.
That makes the trade a little bit better. Berg, we didn't have all the information. Dan, I see you've started to look at the bye weeks and look ahead. I'd love to see that out of you. Saber mentioned.
So I was curious what your guys' opinion on no more Hawk on my team. It's one of the three guys that have still been around since draft day, and I'm curious what you think I'm going to do at tight end.
Higbee. That's a super awesome offense. They put up 35, 37 this week. So I think you ride out that offense and hope you can get a little piece of it with a touchdown because, yeah, waiver wire is not ideal.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Another phone call. Hold on one second. Oh, you heard about my tight end situation? You think you can help?
The theatrics. He loves it.
Boys, big news coming in out of New York. Out of Dallas, Texas. We have number 3 tight end in the league, Dalton Schultz. He is coming to my team, and he will be replacing the Hawk at tight end. This just in.
And who are you trading for him?
Marvin Jones Jr. and the gas can are leaving Team Dan.
Fair.
It's another fair trade. I'm going to be very entertained to watch you try and pick the right tight end to start on a weekly basis. It's going to be very fun.
Dalton Schultz is the 3rd highest scoring tight end in the league. So he will be my tight end. So announcement, Hunter Henry and the Higbee are on the block.
Okay, until you have to drop them tomorrow.
Or until I have to drop them tomorrow. So come quick.
All right, we'll get this podcast out tonight. All right, Dan's made trades. What is new this week? Turning his roster over again. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, it doesn't get him out of his running back pinch this week. Berg has to hope that injury isn't very serious. Obviously, a Thursday night game gives you hope that he should be back next week. But to trade off Zeke, obviously gets that upgrade at tight end with the Hawkinson that that offense is a bit of a dumpster fire, but good trades all around. Seems pretty fair. It doesn't make me fear any of those teams more or less. I think it all is pretty steady.
Let's get to the power rankings.
All right, let's move along.
This is the big part.
All right, power rankings for this week.
Big shakeups all
Nick,
around.
you put the most thought into it, so let's have you go first.
Yeah, I did put a lot of thoughts into it, and it pained me to put my rival at number one in this league, Chris. But at some point, you got to give Derrick Henry, Tom Brady some respect because that's all he has. So I put him at number one, which made Toy fall. He fell down a spot. I've got Ben moving up. Even though he lost, he's still a consistent 4-2 that better record than most of this league can say they have. So I got him at 3, and then I've got Berg actually at 4. He's a much lower compared to on your rankings, but I've still got him high, and my Saber metrics and analytics table that we will be revealing this podcast will prove me right there. So my biggest riser this week was the Milkman, tied with Chris. Both rose 4 this week. So Milk also was very high in my analytics table. So I had to give him some justice after he's filled in the McCaffrey hole. A little bit of movement down low between 7 and 10. I got me moving up a little bit, Cole moving down a little bit. Shaw had a bad week, had him move down to the 10 spot, which is the biggest news. But other than that, this really isn't news, but Dan fell pretty hard in my rankings, but everyone kind of saw that one coming. So he's probably the biggest faller in all of our rankings combined.
Dan, over to you.
Yeah, so as much as it pains me to put Chris at number one, knowing that he gets lucky week in and week out, and it's kind of hard to watch. But he is sole number one in the league. His team is somehow pulling it together, as hard as that is to say. I'm very interested to see if this keeps up, but good on you, Chris. Enjoy your time at the top. Going on from there, I have Toy falling to 3 with low score of the week. Ben, somehow you're moving up with only 109 points. That's a testament to how bad we are. Then it goes Milk. Big scoring week for Milk. He's moving up in my rankings. I move myself. I'm 4 actually. I thought good on me. I'm 4. I made
you made these
rankings. I made these before or when I knew about these big trades that were coming through. So that changed my opinions of my own team a little bit. We got Milk at 5, Bird 6, and then we have Nick 7, Cole 8, Shaw 9. That 75 stat really did scare me. But just like no one is buying on Adam Thielen, I'm not buying on Team Peter after one good week. So he is still last in my power rankings.
Good to be there. Happy to be number 10 in your power rankings. I'm sure there's no bias a part of those rankings. If it was my team that was, if my team was owned by Milk, what would my ranking be?
It would still be 10. Pete, I have nothing against you. I take these ratings the most seriously a human could.
Oh, is that why you were doing it on the way home from work while a cop was about to chase you down and you said, what were my rankings last week?
Whoa, shots fired.
I'm just curious of your analytic process, right? I want the integrity.
Hey.
When Ryan called in, sorry, I'm getting pinged here. I am very popular. But when Ryan called in last week, I made a pledge to our viewership. I made a pledge to Ryan that I would have the utmost integrity around this league. So I'd like to hear your analytics.
I just gave them to you. What do you mean?
Nick?
Yeah, I'm the non-biased one in this one, and I can admit that both of you are biased because one of you has Peter at 10 and one of you has Peter at 7. So let's I don't think someone can start saying the other is biased based on that alone. So let's just
love it. All right, I'll run through my power rankings. At number 1, I got Toy. I still think Toy has the best roster top to bottom. In starting, I think that he got an overperformance the last week from Hollywood Brown. Terry McLaurin has been vastly underperforming these last few weeks. Having Travis Kelce is, I value that high because of what he can just bring to you out of a tight end position. And he got a bad week out of the Chargers this week, which I don't foresee Mike Evans putting up a 3 and Eckler being held under 10 very often this year, especially with the division and the scoring that they have in that division. So I think it was an off week. I am not trusting it for Toy's team. I still have him at number 1. Chris has a plug and play cheat code in Derrick Henry. And like you said, his roster is coming together. So Chris has continued to ride a solid performances. I mean, Tom Brady has been, along with Antonio Brown, are turning out to be the steals of the draft, and Leonard Fournette. I mean, to watch what those three are doing, and those three are the most consistent in that offense. It seems like week to week, they don't have the numbers to back it up. But then you have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who you don't know if they're going to go for 25 or if they're going to go for 2 like Mike Evans did last week. So Antonio Brown turning into a quick favorite target, and that offense is great. I've got Ben at 3. Ben has a very interesting matchup against me this week. We'll talk about it as we get there with 2 of his studs out. At number 4, I have Milk. I love Milk's receiving core. Amari is turning into the number 3 option in the receiving game. So the number 4 option almost down there in Dallas with the surgence of newly minted Dan Miller's team, Dalton Schultz. And CeeDee Lamb is turning out to be a stud, who our other co-host has on as well. But Milk is falling victim. I think if Milk had a healthy McCaffrey, he would be definitely in the top 3. Number 5, I've got Dan. Doesn't change, the trades don't change where he's at. His team still hasn't performed the level that I think we all thought it was capable of doing. We'll see what DJ Moore does. Obviously getting that as a throw-in was big, but he hasn't been great because Darnold hasn't been great. Berg, number 6. Doesn't make any difference with the trades. Berg's team continues to perform. I think he's gotten the worst beats, which we get into Saber metrics here shortly. I have myself at number 7. I think my trades this last week did myself wonders. I think I bought perfectly on Diggs. I have the best running back core in the league, and Dak is turning out to be a stud. At number 8, I've got Nick. I think Nick and I's teams are very comparable. This was the toughest one. Do I put Nick at 7, Nick at 8? Dawson Knox potentially being out and Nick having to stream. We don't know the severity of the issue. If we go to Dan's Google search history, we'll find it. But, what doctors actually say might be different. If Dawson Knox is out, I would put Nick at 8. If Dawson Knox can play, I would put Nick at 7. Obviously, he's on bye week. Shaw at number 9. I like Shaw's team. He's got boomer bust wide receivers, and Jamar Chase is turning out to be an absolute stud as well. And then I got Cole at 10 with losing Kareem Hunt. Now he's riding Josh Jacobs. I think it might be tough moving forward for Cole, but I could be wrong. So those are my rankings. I'll pull up the graph here, what we've got. There's some interesting trends here. So Ben has held firm steady at number 3 over the last 3 weeks. So wow. Ben has not moved at all. Milk has been a great riser. Milk the last 2 weeks was at 7, moved up to number 4. Dan in week 5 was at number 1, then number 2, and now at number 5. So that's a pretty big fall. Nick has been has bounced back a little bit from 6 to 9 to 7. So doing well there. And obviously Chris started our power rankings at number 5 and all the way up to number 1 in week 7. So that is the weekly power rankings, kind of an interesting graph. Any thoughts here, gentlemen, before we move on to Saber metrics?
A lot more movement this week than last week, which is pretty evident in this chart. Which is going to happen when 4 of the bottom 5 teams pull off upsets as far as rankings go. So it was big for you and me to get wins. It was big for wins from the Milk Machine. And then who else am I leaving out? Who else got the win? Because Chris beat Shaw, and then finally, Cole. Cole got the victory versus Alex. So you kind of saw some more movement this week because of that.
Because of Berg's roster, do you think Berg will ever move out of 3 to 7 in our league? He's always got the potential. He keeps running into bad beats. Will he ever break out of 3 to 7?
I don't know if he'll. I for right now, and it's been like this for the last actually, honestly, the whole season. It's been you, me, Cole, and Shaw as the bottom 4, just kind of tussling it out. I don't know if someone needs to break out of that for someone to fall into the bottom 4 with us right now.
It's fun.
Maybe it's Berg.
It's fun. It's fun down there.
I'm having a great time.
Hey. All right, let's move on to what we are all here for today, our big update from the pod. We've got a table here. I don't know what it means. I'm going to learn math today. I'm really excited. But we have the Ass Man, newly minted, Nick Clement, advanced sabermetrics. What's the last S?
Advanced sabermetric statistics table. The Ass table.
He's the Ass Man. So Nick,
the Ass Man, the Ass table.
This beautiful table that you have here. Walk us through.
Yeah. So I'm not going to let Pete take credit for the chart on the prior slide. I also was able to put this one together for us too.
I wouldn't want to take credit. You are our resident statistician, analyst. Dan and I just are here to, well, at least one of us looks good. The other one just banters.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that. So anyways, this table is going to break down kind of a little bit more. I was like, hey, let's see who's gotten lucky, who hasn't gotten lucky. I think there is a common theme, who hasn't. But this one put some numbers behind it. So reading from top to bottom, you're going to be able to quickly see who is underperforming and still getting wins and not. So the way to read this is, for example, week 1. We're going to look at week 1. The highest score was Peter. He got a 1.0 next to his name. And that is because no matter who he played, he would have gotten a win. So he got a full win in no matter what schedule he was in. Meanwhile, Shaw was the lowest score, so he's got a 0. There was no person he could play that he could have gotten a win against, so he got no points for that. Let's see. On another example on week 1 Toy got a 0.6. That means that out of the 9 teams he could have played, he would have gotten I think it was 5 out of 9 he would have beaten. So he was like a top 4 score, and he was valued at a 0.6 then. So to get to that expected win total in the column right below week 6, you add those all together to get your expectation. You compare that to your actual wins on the season, and you'll get your wins above expected. So obviously the green is going to be having more wins than what you actually were expected. So teams that have gotten lucky so far are Chris, and then Ben and Cole. The Cole one was a little bit of a surprise to me. And then the ones that have gotten very bad luck, which was Berg specifically, having almost 2 less wins than he should have. And then me and Luke, the Milk Machine, rounding that out with almost a near loss, more than we would expect to have.
And for who isn't looking at it, I am 0.1 less than I should have. So just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you are wild. The boom and the bust potential as well is a fun stat. I'm just taking the league average score, and then I'm taking 2 standard deviations above that and below that to get what your boom score is and what the bust score is. That number will move as the average moves throughout the season, but it's incredible that Pete, 5 out of 6 weeks, has either boomed or bust. That's quite the anomaly. Berg having 3 booms weeks out of 6 is very large, impressed. So that's why he rose in my rankings. Some other quick stats I'll have before we move on. Chris and Ben are the only 2 people to have 2 opponents to have bust weeks. And me and Ben are the only 2 opponents to have 2 opponents boom. So we've had a couple weeks where we just kind of were put up against it, me and Ben. I will also post this in the group chat. I'll put the ass table in the group chat because I'm sure people want to stare at that, except for Luke because he's a boo boy.
Now, the other interesting part about this is if you looked at rosters where they are today, and you looked at the historical on that. Now, I'm not going to make you go and do that, but Nick, this is fantastic data. It's nice to see this because according to this, I should be in last place, but I'm actually in second to last place. So I take that as a big, good front office moves. So sorry, Shaw. Good to have you down at the bottom there. But Dan, you actually know something about math. So what are your takeaways?
I think it's beautiful. It's nice to see the data. It's nice to see that Chris is getting lucky like we all suspected. And it's
Did his AirPods die? He was probably talking about himself, so I'll just fill that in, that it's interesting that his expected wins matched his actual wins to a T.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
My phone died, so now I'm using my computer audio.
Sounds so
What
correct.
was the last part you were going to say?
I just think it's a shame that some of us, Peter, Nick, Bird, Dan, don't get the luck that teams like Toy, Chris, Ben seem to find themselves getting.
It's a long season. The numbers will even out.
Well, we appreciate it. Nick, this is maybe our best addition to date. This might even trump Ryan from New Jersey, Ryan from New Jersey did text me. So he said he might be available to join us. We'll see. There's that option to have him join us. So we have him on standby if we'd like to talk to Ryan from New Jersey. But Nick, thanks for putting this together. This is fantastic. I look forward to seeing how this plays out throughout the year.
Yeah, I think Ryan New Jersey's not going to want to come on after the power rankings, this ass table, and then our pick'em. So it's going to be a rough week of sledding for him.
Yeah. All right, let's move along here. So matchup previews. So let me pull up our matchups here. Oh,
wait, can we see how we did last week in the pick'em?
You want to start there?
I just want to know how I did. I've been thinking about
so in last week's pick'em, I went 1-4, and you and Nick both went 2-3. So I was wrong on everyone but myself. The clean sweep, that beautiful. That's like going 5-0 though. You guessed Milk v Ben correctly. So very well done. And Nick guessed Cole v Toy correctly. So that brings our season to Dan 69.
Nice. You would.
Nick, 96. And Peter 4-11.
What's a better win percentage right now? 2-4 or 4-11?
I'll take 2-4, baby. All right.
Yeah.
Dan, any comments here?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's move ahead. Week 7. Oh, what the heck's going on? So let's start here at the bottom. We don't have a dog in this fight. We got a couple of guys at the top fighting it out this week. Our top 2 in the power rankings, actually, which makes this matchup a little extra juicy. What is this D next to Derrick Henry's name?
That's the first letter in his name.
No, this one right here.
That's a video.
Oh,
that's play button.
I thought that meant doubtful, and I was like, oh boy. The luck continues to roll on for Alex Toy, but I am wrong. Nick, let's preview this matchup.
Yeah, we probably don't have to take too much time on this one. Alex has a lot of players out. So look at all of his starters that he's going to be having on the bench this week from draft time. His starting 2 running backs, Montgomery and Eckler, his starting quarterback, Russell Wilson, his darling, his fantasy darling, Mike Williams. He's got Patterson, who he literally stole from Dan. He's starting Melvin Gordon, who someone on this podcast would say is an RB2. I always love a little bit of Terry McLaurin, but I don't think that's going to be enough to take down Chris, who's again number 1 in our power rankings. I think he's going to get a win here.
I would have to agree with you. I like the matchups. You got Leonard Fournette versus Chicago. Should be another big game there. Tom Brady should slice away that defense. Derrick Henry versus Kansas City. That is just scary. But the interesting part is if Tampa Bay does decide to lay an egg, there is a tri-stack in this matchup. Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, and Tampa Brady. So at any point, it could go south. We saw what happened to Eckler and Williams, who we thought maybe matchup proof. But as they say, it might be one thing that is matchup proof. And Chris does have it. His name is Derrick Henry. But outside of that, could be very interesting. But I am going to roll with Chris here. Dan, your thoughts?
I got Chris on this one.
Would be interesting to see. Oh. Does Dan got any comments on the matchup?
No real comments. I think as long as Derrick Henry is still playing, that Chris is going to be hard to take down.
Yeah. Alex would, in this situation, fall to 4-3, just barely over 500 after being a clear top team in the power ranking. So could be a little bit of a slide for him if he's not able to pull this one out.
Yep. All right, let's move on to Cole v. Berg.
Who wants to talk about this one? Not me.
Dan, take it away.
Yeah, I'll talk about this one. I think Cole's gonna have a hard time winning this one with Justin Herbert out, James Robinson out, Saquon Barkley still out, Kareem Hunt hurt, Keenan Allen out, Cole Beasley, who out of nowhere had a decent week, bye. And Berg's team stays pretty the same. One of the big changes, he has no Zeke this week because he's on bye, and he's also on my team. And his new running back, Chubb, is hurt. But at tight end, he does improve with the Hawk. So I like Berg in this one. I think this week is all going to be about who you still have in your lineup with bye week and injury. And I think Berg has more of the same.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna tilt towards Berg. It'll be interesting to see. Dan has made the most interesting trades over not just him but both sides. Cole has made the most interesting waiver wire acquisitions, in my opinion. Paying 31 fab for Kadarius Toney. I put in a good bid for Kadarius Toney. Thought I would get him at 13. Was going to be surprised if someone went over 15 to get him. So to see 31 come through, I was pretty surprised. Who is doubtful this week. So hopefully he plays. Obviously a fantastic player out there. Jarvis Landry coming back from IR. I've mentioned already, and Baker Mayfield passing to him. Does Baker Mayfield have a shoulder? We don't know. But yeah, the running back situation is interesting there. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what Cole does on the waiver this week, because he's going to have to get a quarterback. It'll be interesting to see who he drops. I think there's a clear cut person who he drops here. And it'll be interesting to see if he picks him up, but Cole might not make that move because we saw him pay 31 fab for Kadarius Toney. And for terms for Berg, D-Hop, I'm just going to give you a quick stat on D-Hop. D-Hop had 19 points during last week's game. He had 2 touchdowns and 19 points, 3 receptions, 55 yards, 19 points, 2 touchdowns. To put that in perspective, Antonio Brown, 1 touchdown, 19 points or 18.7. Stephon Diggs, 1 touchdown, over 19 points. So D-Hop is obviously a red zone target, but he's not getting looks in the open field. So that is a very boomer bust right there. And Cortland Sutton has, in my opinion, been overperforming. So we'll see if that continues that trend or if that comes back down to earth a little bit. I think Berg gets through this matchup this week and wins. Nick, over to you.
Yeah, I think you had some really good stats there. I think they're solid. At the flip for Keenan Allen over Calvin Ridley helped him. He was able to start Keenan Allen. That got him the win last week, but now he's going to have to deal with the bye that I had to deal with last week. So no Ridley's going to hurt him here. And Kadarius Toney is not projected to play either, so he'll have to fill that spot. Honestly, the only person I really like here on his side is Josh Jacobs and maybe Mike Gesicki. I think Berg wins this one, and it's not too close.
Berg, maybe the tide turns for him. Maybe he starts to get lucky. If Berg loses this week to a massive performance, Berg might quit.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Dan. Let's preview this little matchup. Dan, walk us through it.
Yeah, so I think what you're seeing now is not going to be what you're seeing this Sunday. I think there's going to be some waiver wire moves made on both sides. The thing that Milk has as an advantage is most of his team is going to stay put. Milk is only affected by the Amari Cooper bye week. And some might say it's better to just keep Amari Cooper off your starting lineup anyway. So that might help him out in the long term. Meanwhile, I am definitely bitten by the bye bug. I've got Zeke. I've got Juicy Jeff. I've got Dalton Schultz. I've got Tony Pollard. Most of my team is...
Oh, wait, 1 second. How are these guys on your team already? I thought when you make a trade, it's supposed to take like several hours for it to process.
Yeah, so I care about the integrity of this league, and I wanted the matchup preview to be as accurate as possible. So I made sure to push.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Good commish.
Hey, that's what I do. I think my only hope is Tyreek, DJ Moore, Kamara, and Kyler going absolutely bananas. I think that's possible, but I do like Milk's odds given the bye weeks. I'm gonna take Milk here.
Peter, what are your thoughts on this one?
This one's tough. This is a tough pick here. Dan's got guys who can perform. He's got good matchups as well. Damian Harris against the New York Jets. He's got Alvin Kamara against Seattle.
Yep.
What was that?
That one's tough. Jets run defense is very good.
You're not fooling anyone.
Tyreek Hill against Tennessee. I actually think, but then he's got Cooper Kupp against Detroit. That could be a run game very quickly out there when they're up big. I'm gonna roll with Dan in this one to move to 4-3.
Let's go, Peter.
Oh, I was hoping you were gonna pick Milk so I could zag and take Dan. It's very close. This is honestly one of the toughest ones I think I've had to pick yet between Dan and Milk. I can't remember one that I could toss up either way. Legit, almost every player has a good matchup in this between these two teams. I think, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go the Milkman.
Okay.
I hope I can prove you right, Peter.
Hey.
If Dan doesn't believe in his team, why should I?
Hey, very good point. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? Keep your eyes open for some trade talks as this matchup gets closer.
Between who?
Not Chris, me, or Ben.
True.
All right. We'll quit the banter. CD Nuts versus Team Hungry Dogs. A bottom of the barrel matchup that we all love to see. This is not relegation. This is not for top draft pick next year. This is to stay afloat and make a statement and say, I'm not number 7. I'm not number 10. I'm number 6, and potentially break through that ceiling of 7 into 6. We will have a farewell party for you, whoever does it. But Nick, walk us through your matchup.
Yep, I've got me versus Shaw. I think it's a loser leaves town type of match, like you said, where I think the loser's kind of out of it. I don't know if I can see someone who's 2-4 right now making the playoffs if they don't win this week. 2-5 is too tough to come back from. This is another one where I legit don't know what's going to happen. I have no faith in Tannehill, but he's got a good matchup. That's why I picked him up early. Gibson is projected possibly not to play. Swift against the Rams defense is tough. Oh, if I pick against myself here, it means I don't think I'm going to make the playoffs. How sad is that?
I could feel that.
I'm going to have to cry on the podcast, boys. I think I've got Shaw.
I stand by my comment in the last matchup. If you don't believe in yourself, who else will? I take Shaw.
Yeah, I don't like to see DeAndre Swift versus the Rams. Jamar Chase at Baltimore. That's tough.
Come on, Pete, do it. Just do it. You stuck up for Dan. You're not going to stick up for me. Although, just kidding. You're bad at picks. Don't take me.
I'm going to take Nick. And I'm going to also rebut Nick's claim that 2 and 4, that 2 and 5 is going to be tough. I don't think it rules you out of the playoffs. I don't think I think our league is becoming a lot more congested than we thought. And there's one clear guy who's 5-1 somehow, Chris 5-1, and is running away with it. But based off of matchup, we're looking at Toy potentially falling to 4-3. Ben's going to fall to 4-3 because he's going up an absolute monster of a team this week. But I do not think 2 and 5 puts you out of it, but I am going to roll with Nick in this matchup. So Nick, congrats on the loss.
Damn it.
I'm so sad that Peter picked me.
You picked Ice, right?
Yeah, everyone picked Ice and Chris.
All right. What we've all been waiting for. Will Zalatoris v. Team Molesky. I have got maybe the biggest buy troubles of anyone. However, I do like what I saw out of Waddle last week, and he's got a great matchup against Atlanta. I do like what I got for Corey Davis, only giving up 6 fab. Imagine paying 10 fab and Myles Gaskin for Odell Beckham when you could pay 6 fab for Corey Davis, hold him over Dan's head, and have him cry and have to push that trade through. It's great. I like Jonathan Taylor. I have the best running back in this matchup because Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson are on bye. Quick stat for you. In the weeks that they have played, Najee Harris has been averaging just about 20 points per game. But those two, the last 3 weeks, have averaged 37, 35, and 35. One of those weeks, his team went off and put up 160 when Antonio Brown went off. And I think Devontae had a big week that week. But outside of that, Ben has been capped right around 110, had 1 week at 117. So I think him losing Najee and him losing Deontay is a very big loss. I will obviously be streaming a quarterback. I'm going to pick myself here. I am expecting some massive show out from my team. I think Jonathan Taylor continues to roll even at San Francisco. And I think Javonte Williams is going to get the benefit of a Thursday night matchup, an injured Melvin Gordon, and probably going to overtake Derrick Henry as the best running back in the league.
I've got Ben.
I also have Ben. I love Peter sprinkling in. Peter's got Ben too. He won't say it. Oh, 2 and 5 isn't out of it. Oh, 2 and 5 might be hard, but they still have a chance. Yeah.
Oh, Pete's taking himself.
No, I'm taking myself. I like my matchups. Waddle can put up 24. Pittman can put up 4. Fant, 20. It's going to be we're going to ride this out. All right. Any other thoughts on the matchups coming out?
I'm very interested in what Corey Davis did the last time the Jets played New England. Do you have any stats on that?
Do you? You're the resident Jets fan.
I block that game out of my mind. So I was just curious if anyone else had those numbers.
They played already this year? Oh, 1.8. Wow, they're already playing again. Holy cow. Hey.
Now he knows what he did wrong. He's gonna fix those mistakes.
Bounce back week. He's basically CeeDee Lamb, going to go for 30. All right. Any other thoughts on matchups here?
Nope.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of I Suck at Fantasy podcast, boys.
Good episode. I think we're really hitting our stride.
Nick, you picked Shaw.
Yeah, I picked Shaw and I picked Ben. Hey, NBA opening night, so this is the last time I care about fantasy football. Have a good rest of your season, boys. I'm going to lose to Shaw, and I'll be watching the Bucks every other night. So,
hey, fun doing this. We'll see you. We'll see you all again next week. I apologize we had to do it on Tuesday. We have one of our gentlemen heading to San Diego. Enjoy your trip out there. Congrats on seeing the ocean for the first time. I know it's very exciting for you, but stay tuned. I think tomorrow is going to be very juicy, and maybe we'll have some news as waiver wire transactions start to hit. Players start hitting the waiver wires. There might be some people you can pick up on Thursday or Friday, and it's going to get very interesting. Just another reason for Nick to maybe run our TikTok account moving forward.
nah.
Oh, also, Will Zalatoris is playing in the Zozo Championship. I would highly recommend putting some money on him. It's an absolute loss.
We're champions. All right.
All right.
That was pretty lame. Please, I hope everyone already turned it off anyway, so we're good.